Shalom. I'm Rabbi Eliyahu, and I need to tell you something that might make you uncomfortable. God doesn't want you praying Psalm 23 the way you've been taught. Most people recite it like a magic spell and wonder why nothing changes. Today, I'm revealing the hidden consciousness technology in this ancient prayer that Jewish families have used for centuries to attract wealth while they sleep. Let me destroy a lie that's keeping you broke. You think reciting Psalms before sleep is about begging God for help. I see this in my community all the time. People reciting prayers every single night with zero results. They wake up to the same financial struggles, the same stress, the same empty bank account. Here's the truth nobody's telling you. It's not about the words you speak, it's about the consciousness you create before entering the dream state. Listen carefully. Your subconscious mind is most receptive during the transition between waking and sleeping. The Talmud teaches us that the sages understood this principle thousands of years ago. They knew that the last thoughts before sleep become the seeds planted in your unconscious mind growing while you rest. But here's what's happening to most people. Every single night you fall asleep worried about bills. You fall asleep thinking about debt. You fall asleep scrolling through your bank account, reinforcing scarcity. And then you wonder why you wake up to the same financial reality day after day after day. The problem isn't that prayers don't work. The problem is you're using them wrong. You're treating ancient wisdom like it's some kind of magic spell. Say the words, close your eyes, hope something changes. That's not how spiritual technology works. That's not how consciousness works. And that's definitely not how Jewish families have built generational wealth for millennia. Every night you fall asleep in scarcity consciousness. You're programming your subconscious for poverty. You're literally training your mind to see lack, to expect struggle, to accept being broke as your permanent reality. I'm going to show you exactly how to use Psalm 23 as spiritual technology, not a magic spell. I'm going to teach you the same practice that wealthy Jewish families pass down generation after generation. The same practice my grandfather taught me at my bar mitzvah. This isn't about begging God to fix your finances. This is about aligning your consciousness with abundance before sleep, so you wake up in a completely different frequency. People ask me all the time, Rabbi, there are 150 Psalms. Why this one? Let me tell you why most people get this wrong from the start. They choose random Psalms. They pray all 150 thinking more is better. They have no idea what they're actually saying or why it matters. They're just hoping something sticks. Here's what makes Psalm 23 different. In Hebrew it begins, Adonai roi lo eksar. In English, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not lack. Now let me break this down word by word because this is where the consciousness shift happens. Adonai doesn't mean some distant God sitting on a throne deciding who gets blessed and who stays broke. It means infinite source. It means unlimited abundance that flows like water from a spring. Not an employer you beg for a paycheck. Not a gatekeeper deciding if you're worthy. Infinite source. Roi means my shepherd. This is personal. This is relationship. In biblical times, a shepherd didn't just watch sheep. He provided everything they needed. Protection, guidance, sustenance, direction. The shepherd made sure nothing lacked. And here's the most important part. Lo eksar. I shall not lack. Not please don't let me lack. Not I hope I won't lack. Not maybe if I'm good enough I won't lack. I shall not lack. This is a declaration, not begging. Do you see the difference? When you understand what you're actually saying, everything changes. This isn't a request. This is a statement of consciousness alignment with infinite abundance. The Torah shows us that shepherds represented complete provision. When David wrote this psalm, he wasn't asking God to maybe help him out if it was convenient. He was declaring his alignment with the source that provides everything. Here's the principle Jewish families understand. When you declare, I shall not lack before sleep, you're programming your subconscious to recognize opportunities. You're training your mind to see abundance instead of scarcity. You're shifting your frequency to match wealth instead of poverty. I had a client named Sarah. She was $47,000 in debt. Every night she recited Psalm 23 100 times. desperately, frantically, begging God to fix her situation. 3 months later, nothing changed. More debt, actually. Why? Because her consciousness was, please give me, not I already have access to infinite source. She was using the words like a magic spell, while drowning in scarcity frequency. The psalm itself is perfect, but if you recite it from desperation, you're just reinforcing desperation. I know what you're thinking right now. Rabbi, are you saying the words don't matter? No, the words matter tremendously, but only when they're paired with correct consciousness. Let me explain exactly what needs to shift. Here's the three-part framework for using Psalm 23 correctly. First, gratitude first. You absolutely must create a vessel before you can fill it. You cannot receive more when you're blind to what you already have. This isn't optional, this is foundational. The Zohar teaches us that gratitude opens the channels for abundance to flow. Without gratitude, you're trying to pour water into a vessel with no bottom. Second, declaration, not desperation. You're not asking God for money. You're not begging for a miracle. You're declaring your alignment with infinite source. There's a massive difference between please help me, I'm broke, and I align with abundance that already exists. One is scarcity consciousness, the other is wealth consciousness. Third, visualization during recitation. You must see abundance flowing to you, not you chasing it, not you working harder, not you struggling more. You see opportunities appearing. You see money flowing from unexpected sources. You see yourself receiving, not begging. This is what the Kabbalists knew. Your consciousness creates a frequency. That frequency attracts matching circumstances. When you vibrate at poverty frequency, you attract poverty circumstances. When you shift to abundance frequency, different circumstances appear. Let me be crystal clear about something. This is not magic. This is spiritual technology. You're not manipulating God. You're not casting spells. You're not trying to cheat the universe. You're aligning with infinite abundance that already exists everywhere all the time. Jewish families have understood this for 3,000 years. The Zohar explicitly teaches that words spoken with kavana, with intention, with consciousness, reshape reality. Not because the words are magic, but because consciousness is creative. The mistake most people make is treating Psalm 23 like a good luck charm. They recite it while their mind is screaming about debt. They say, I shall not lack, while believing I'm so broke. That's like trying to drive forward with the emergency brake on. You cannot program abundance while broadcasting scarcity. Let me give you the exact process. These 5 steps are non-negotiable if you want this to work. Step 1. 30 minutes before sleep, review your day for things to be grateful for, not fake gratitude, real gratitude. Write down 3 specific things. Not, I'm grateful for everything. That's lazy. I'm grateful my car started today. I'm grateful for the lunch I ate. I'm grateful I have running water. Specific, real, true. Step 2. Sit on the edge of your bed. Take 3 deep breaths. Breathe in for 4 counts. Hold for 4. Exhale for 6. This centers you. This shifts you from stress mode to receptive mode. You cannot program your subconscious while your nervous system is in fight or flight. Step 3. Recite Psalm 23 slowly. Hebrew or English doesn't matter. But here's what matters. Pause after each verse to visualize abundance in that area. The Lord is my shepherd. See yourself guided toward opportunities. I shall not lack. See your bank account growing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. See yourself resting in financial peace. Step 4. After you finish, I shall not lack. Spend 60 seconds seeing yourself with financial freedom. Not wanting it, having it. See yourself checking your bank account with a smile. See yourself paying bills without stress. See yourself giving generously because you have abundance to share. Feel what that feels like. Step 5. Fall asleep holding the feeling of already having abundance, not the wanting of it. This is crucial. If you fall asleep wanting money, you wake up wanting money. If you fall asleep feeling abundant, You wake up in abundance frequency. Now let me explain why each step matters. Gratitude creates the vessel. In Jewish mysticism, we understand you cannot fill a vessel that doesn't exist. Gratitude is how you create that vessel. This is called bitashon. Trust that the source is already flowing. You just need to become receptive. The breath work shifts your nervous system from stress to receptivity. When you're stressed, your subconscious goes into survival mode. It cannot receive new programming. The breath opens the channel. Pausing between verses engages consciousness instead of autopilot. Most people speed through prayers like they're checking a box. That does nothing. When you pause and visualize, you're actively rewiring neural pathways. And falling asleep in abundance frequency, that programs your subconscious for 8 hours straight. Let me tell you about David. 42 years old, small business owner, $85,000 in debt. He couldn't sleep because of the stress. Every night, lying awake, calculating numbers, drowning in anxiety. When he first came to me, he was already reciting Psalm 23, multiple times per night actually, desperately, begging God for a miracle. Please, please, please help me, I can't do this anymore. 3 months of this, every single night. Want to know what changed? Nothing. Actually, worse than nothing. He went deeper into debt, lost a major client. His biggest fear was becoming reality. That's when he came to my office and said, Rabbi, I'm doing everything right. I'm praying. Why isn't God helping me? I looked at him and said, David, you're using ancient wisdom like it's a magic spell. You're reciting words from a place of absolute panic. You think God is your employer and you're begging for a paycheck. He didn't like that. He got defensive. So what am I supposed to do? Just give up? No, I said. I'm going to teach you how to shift your consciousness, but you have to be willing to feel uncomfortable. Here's what I taught him. Gratitude first, then declaration. Not begging. Alignment. His immediate response. Rabbi, I have nothing to be grateful for. I'm drowning in debt. My business is failing. What do you want me to be grateful for? I looked him in the eyes and said, then you'll stay drowning. Find 3 things or stay broke. Your choice. That was harsh. But sometimes people need harsh. He left my office angry, but that night he tried it. He found 3 things. His health, his family still supporting him, the skills he'd built over 20 years. Week 1, something shifted. He started sleeping better. Small thing, but significant. He wasn't waking up at 3 a.m. in a panic anymore. Week 2, he noticed something different when he woke up. Instead of dread, he had ideas, business ideas, marketing ideas, things he could try. Month 1, a former client reached out. Someone he hadn't talked to in 2 years. Needed a project done. $15,000. Month 3, his business revenue increased 40%. He paid off $20,000 in debt. Hired back an employee he'd had to let go. Month 6, he expanded to 2 locations. Hired 3 more people. Started sleeping like he hadn't slept in 5 years. I asked him what changed. He said, Rabbi, the psalm didn't magically make money appear. It changed how I saw opportunities that were already there. Same market, same skills, completely different results. That's the principle. Same person, different consciousness, different reality. I know some of you are thinking, Rabbi, this sounds like manifestation nonsense. This sounds like woo-woo pseudoscience. Let me bridge something for you. The Talmud knew what neuroscience now proves. The transition to sleep, what scientists call the hypnagogic state, is when your subconscious is most programmable. This isn't mysticism. This is measurable brain science. Your conscious mind, the part that critiques and doubts and resists, starts shutting down. Your subconscious mind, the part that runs 95% of your behavior, becomes wide open. In Jewish tradition, we recite the Shema prayer before sleep for this exact reason. The last conscious thought shapes the unconscious processing that happens all night long. Here's what happens while you sleep. Your brain processes and integrates whatever consciousness you fell asleep in. If you fall asleep worried about bills, your brain spends 8 hours reinforcing neural pathways of financial stress. If you fall asleep in abundance consciousness, your brain reinforces pathways of opportunity recognition. This is why poverty persists generation after generation. Most people fall asleep scrolling through debt, thinking, I can't afford this. Worrying about next month's rent, they're programming scarcity for 8 hours every single night. The compound effect over months, over years, massive. The Torah teaches us lador vedor, from generation to generation. This isn't just about you, this is about creating wealth patterns that last, not quick fixes, not lottery thinking, lasting transformation. Now let me go deeper on the gratitude component, because this is where most people fail. You cannot receive more when you're blind to what you already have. This is spiritual law. In Kabbalah, we understand that the vessel for receiving is created through acknowledgement of what already is. When you practice gratitude, you're literally expanding your capacity to receive. Without gratitude, you're trying to fill a vessel with holes in it. Everything flows through, nothing stays. I know what you're thinking, Rabbi, 30 minutes is a lot. I'm exhausted at night. Let me reframe that for you. You're spending 8 hours sleeping anyway. 8 hours where your subconscious is either programming poverty or programming wealth. You're telling me you don't have 30 minutes to determine which one happens. You have time to scroll social media. You have time to watch TV. You have time to worry. You're already spending that time. I'm just asking you to redirect it. Let me tell you about Miriam, 35 years old, single mother, working 2 jobs, making $32,000 a year, no savings, no emergency fund, living paycheck to paycheck while raising a daughter alone. Every night she collapsed into bed thinking the same thought. I can't do this anymore. Pure exhaustion, pure defeat, pure scarcity consciousness. When she came to me, I explained the practice. She looked at me like I was crazy. Rabbi, I barely have energy to shower before bed. You want me to do a whole spiritual practice? Are you serious? I said, Miriam, you have energy to program yourself broke every single night. You're already doing the practice. You're just doing the poverty version. Let's redirect that energy. She was skeptical. Exhausted people usually are, so I gave her the modified 5-minute version. Lie down. Think of 3 things from today to be grateful for. Just think them, don't even write them. Recite the first verse of Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not lack. Visualize waking up to good news for 30 seconds. Sleep. 5 minutes. That's it. I told her 30 days minimum, no excuses, even on your worst days. She committed. Week 1 and 2, nothing external changed, but she noticed something. She was sleeping deeper. Less anxiety, less waking up in the middle of the night with her heart racing. Week 3, her boss casually mentioned that a management position was opening up. In the past, Miriam would have immediately thought, that's not for me, I'm not qualified. This time she thought, why not me? Applied that same day. Month 2, she got the promotion, $15,000 salary increase, down to 1 job, more time with her daughter. Month 4, she met someone at synagogue who connected her to an even better paying opportunity. She didn't even know she was looking. The opportunity found her. Month 6, she was making $65,000 a year, started an emergency fund, enrolled her daughter in a better school, sleeping 6 full hours without waking up in panic. I asked her what happened. She said something that gave me chills. Rabbi, I was the same person with the same skills. The opportunities were always there. I just couldn't see them from scarcity consciousness. She didn't win the lottery. She didn't inherit money. She didn't get lucky. She shifted her frequency and different circumstances appeared. That's how this works. Psalm 23 isn't magic, it's consciousness technology. Let me address the objections I know you're having right now. But Rabbi, I'm not Jewish. Will this work for me? Yes, these are universal principles of consciousness. Consciousness doesn't care about your religion. The wisdom belongs to humanity, not just one group. I'm sharing what Jewish families have known for millennia, but the principles apply to everyone. What if I fall asleep before finishing the practice? Perfect. That means you fell asleep in abundance consciousness, which is exactly the goal. The psalm is the tool, not the destination. If you fall asleep during step 3, that's success, not failure. I've tried manifestation before and it didn't work. Because you tried to manifest from scarcity. You tried to get something you believed you didn't have. This is different. You're aligning with Source first through gratitude. You're declaring access to what already exists. Completely different frequency. Here's what I need you to understand. This isn't a one-night experiment. You didn't develop poverty consciousness in one night. You're not going to transform it in one night. Commit to 30 days minimum. 3 immediate action steps. Do these today, not tomorrow. 1. Tonight before bed. Find 3 things to be grateful for. Write them down, not in your head, on paper. Make it real. 2. Print or write out Psalm 23. Keep it by your bed where you can see it. This is your anchor. 3. Set a reminder on your phone for 30 minutes before your normal bedtime. That's when you start the practice. The 30-day challenge. Do this practice every single night for 30 days. Then evaluate your results, not after 3 days, not after 1 week. 30 days of consistent practice. Tell me in the comments, what's the one financial miracle you need right now? And will you commit to this 30-day practice? I want to see your commitment written down. If this ancient wisdom resonated with you, make sure you're subscribed. Next week, I'm revealing the morning prayer practice that Jewish entrepreneurs use to multiply their income. The companion practice to Psalm 23, morning declarations that set your wealth frequency for the entire day. Remember, you're not asking God for money. You're aligning your consciousness with infinite abundance before sleep, so you wake up in a different frequency. You're programming your subconscious for wealth instead of poverty. Start tonight, not tomorrow, not next week. Tonight, may you sleep in abundance and wake to prosperity. Shalom.